Welcome back to another episode in this off-season. Thought today, because I'm having issues with my microphone. So basically, long story short, I was leaving it after train legs, filmed a whole episode for the YouTube, which you've probably seen already. Put the receiver for the microphone on top of the squat press, finished my set, and obviously kind of like still in the set, head wasn't really in places, after a set kind of go a bit deaf, the gym was spinning a bit. Started to unload the plates only from one side, so 11 plates on one side, 11 plates on the other. Started unloading, just kept going on one side, taking plates off and putting them onto the weight tree, and squat press flipped over onto its side. The receiver that I put on the top flew off somehow, no idea how, onto the floor. Obviously the plates on the other side all came off and landed on the receiver. So basically the whole screen of the receiver's come out. It's basically gone. The adapter that you put into it to plug into your phone is like sunken into the receiver, and it's basically not working. So I'm trying to find a new one to buy instead of having to buy a whole new set, because they're like 250 quid, 200 quid I think. I don't want to shift out that amount of money for just a receiver, because I've still got the two microphones which work fine. So I'm in the process of doing that at the moment. I'm trying to find another one that I can buy. Until then, I've kind of been stuck in terms of doing YouTube videos. I don't really want to do training videos and just post training footage without any kind of intro or me talking in the middle. So I've kind of been, that's why I haven't posted much for the last few weeks. So I thought I'd just do this little ramble today and give you like an update on the off season so far, how we're getting on, plans going forward, and the process of what we're in at the moment. So currently in this push-up, which we've been in since last November, so it'll be a year now, 12 months. November is today, so about 12 months in this push-up. We've just done 6 weeks in a hell phase, so this is the last week in a hell phase. So I finished my last push-up at about 140 kilo, which in pounds I think it's definitely over 300. I think it's about 305, I'm guessing. It's definitely over 300 pounds. Heaviest ever, never been 300 pounds before, so that was cool. And held it for a good amount of time. Since then, obviously going into this hell phase for 6 weeks, I've dropped 8 kilo. So obviously, being as transparent as I can. Back down to TRT, big clear out. Food was dropped by about 1,000 calories over the course of these 6 weeks. On both days, on both training days, rest days. So that's obviously brought weight down. Conditions got much better, much tighter. Appetite's gone right back up, which is the whole point of this hell phase, was to bring back appetite, obviously clear out, get blood markers back in a good place, because we can't just push for a whole off season. If you're taking a whole year out, you can't just push from day one of coming off stage to the next time you go on stage in terms of starting prep, which could be like a year's time. You have to take breaks, which we've done. We've currently done like 2 hell phases in the course of this year, and then in between that we've just done push-ups and improvements phases. So each time we kind of push up and come back down, we're just solidifying this new tissue onto the frame, getting to a point where we're getting into a big surplus. We're pushing food. I think my food in the last push got up to just over 6,000 calories on a training day, and about 5,800 on the rest day. So that will obviously bring body weight up. I did gain a bit of fat, which is normal with a push-up and kind of what we expected, but keeping things in good levels in terms of condition, where still seeing the midsection come through, still having lines in my quads, not pushing it too far or over the edge, because we knew we'd have to do this health phase, which is only 6 weeks. You can only pull off so much body fat in terms of in the 6 week period in a health phase, without kind of putting detriment on training or anything like that. So that was kind of the plan with this health phase, really, was to just get everything back in line, back in play, so that when we go to then push up again in this next improvements phase, I'm in a good place. So in terms of training, all I've been doing for the last 6 weeks is kind of just holding numbers, which is a bit, it is what it is. It is what you have to do in a health phase. It's kind of just hold numbers and really try and improve execution, which I did. There was a few weeks of the last kind of straws because of the amount of body weight I dropped, and obviously being on CRT, low food. There was a few weeks where push movements started to, I just started to get a bit weaker on the push movements, which is kind of normal when you go into a deficit or drop food, and strength just goes a bit. It was really just on my main pressing, all accessories, even maintained or progressed. So I was kind of happy with that, and doing my check-ins every week and taking pictures, 2-3 times a week. I knew that I was holding onto tissue just by how I looked, which was the main thing. We only want to hold on to tissue in a health phase. The health phase is not a time to be trying to put size on, trying to improve the physique in terms of muscle mass. That is not the goal. The goal was to improve appetite, get better condition, bring that into play, improve blood work, everything like that, a nice clearance phase. So we've done that now. So we've done that. 6 weeks has gone by. Improvement starts next week. So my next improvement this improvement phase starts next week, from Monday. So today is Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We got about 3 days to go till the next improvement phase starts, which is exciting. I think I've got another about 10 to 15 weeks push, and then prep starts. So this year has gone very, very quickly, which it does in bodybuilding, because you're just in a kind of tunnel vision. Every day is the same. It's always a bit of a blur, whether in prep or off season, which is good. But at the same time, this improvement phase, I really want to make a big standpoint. I really, I was about, like I said, 140 kilo, which we got to in my last push. In this push now that we're about to go in, I want to push up to about 145, which is about 320 pounds, I think. That'll be really cool to see. I think I can do it. It's about 10 kilo from where I am today. I'm about 135 today. So, 10 kilo push up in 10 to 15 weeks, I think is more than doable, from what I've done in the past and how much weight I've put on in different improvements phases. So, we're going to have to push food higher than it was last time, probably. Luke set out the plan going forward into this next improvements phase, and he's banging food right back up to about 5,000, just over 5,000 calories. So it'd be interesting to see where food goes, and how the body responds. But I think it's going to respond pretty well, just how I feel right now, and appetite, and body fat levels, and my response is always pretty good, always has been good, which I put down mainly to the consistency of my days, consistency of food, consistency of training, cardio, any sort of minuscule change that Luke makes. We normally see a change in the physique, and the change in whether that's condition, strength, anything like that is normally done with the changes made. So looking forward to that. I don't know if you've heard on other videos that I've done, or I don't know if I've spoken about it, but I had that little knee niggle, which, to be fair, I would have had for about, September, about 3 or 4 months now. So that time's gone quick. So yeah, about 3 months, maybe 4 months I've had that for. Just my right knee flared up, which, you know, now with doing this pullback phase, I can really put it down to, and what I can put it down to is literally just pushing body weight up, you know, getting to a point with body weight where I'm entering new territory with body weight. And that seemed to, once I got up to, I think it was about 130 kilo, 131, which was new body weight for me. In my last push last year, before I went into prep, I was up to 128 kilo. So, you know, whenever you go into like new territory, the body obviously has to adapt, and it takes time. It takes time to do that. But things can happen, you know, when you are this heavy. You know, I'm 6'2", got up to 140 kilo. That's, you know, it's a lot of weight put on the body, and a lot of weight that the body probably doesn't want to be at. So it's gonna, you know, give you certain niggles, and everything like that. So the knee was one. You know, I could also put it down to, it happened around the time that I was doing Smith squats, and I was getting seriously strong at that time. I was literally, you know, doing my sets, and every week I'd have to put on 2.5 to 5 kilo aside, and I was still hitting the top of my rep range. And that went on for a few weeks. It got up to just over 5 plates on that Smith squat, and I think that the strength increase there, alongside the body weight increase, because I was going up pretty quickly as well, getting over 130 kilo, just stressed out the knee, and put a lot on that. And then you can imagine, you know, going up from 131, being there, to still being in the push-up phase at that point, and putting another 10 kilo on. The knee was, you know, never going to get better at that point. So I had to really adjust my training and really think about my leg training. It was a very difficult time mentally to kind of deal with that, to be honest. You know, a lot of kind of talks to myself regarding that and how I was going to get through it, because I'd never really been in that position where I wasn't able to train legs properly. And I would never be in a position where I'd have to change a session because something was hurting and was kind of injured. So that was new, something else I had to deal with, you know, a new challenge that had to be overcome. And yeah, I had to do a lot of kind of high rep stuff, you know, drop my loads by a lot, change up my split, change up my movements, how the order of movements in my session, and where I had them, you know, coming off the Smith squat obviously and going onto the pendulum, but still having knee problems with that and not being able to push sets, which was hard. You know, I did a lot of dry needling, a lot of sports massages to try and relieve the quad and muscle around the knee, because, you know, the issue is when you do get like a knee injury, you don't actually know what it is that is causing it unless you get an MRI. Obviously the MRI is kind of the last straw that you want to take, but that was on the cards as well. By the end of it, you know, going through 2.5 months, I was like, right, I'm gonna have to get an MRI here and see what's going on, because it's not improving. You know, I was icing it every night, trying to relieve some inflammation that could have been built up in the knee. But again, you don't know what you're targeting. You know, I don't think it was joint. I think it was just stress on the knee from being so heavy. And, you know, as well, with my job as being a private chef, I'm sometimes on my feet all day. You know, from 6 a.m. when I get to the gym to 10, 11, midnight, I'm on my feet pretty much all day doing my job. which again is putting just constant stress on the knee, and it's not having time to be recovered. So that as well was something that I had to try and manage. I'm trying to boost my online coaching at the moment as well, and trying to really go full send on that to be able to do that full time, because I know it's just going to improve my bodybuilding. From a standpoint that, when I went into the private chef work and working for myself, it improved my bodybuilding. So it's just another step. It's just another stepping stone that I think I'm going to have to do, and I'm working on it now. So, but things like that, if I was doing my online coaching from my laptop and just being able to work from there, I'd be able to recover my knee and take stress off my knee during the day, which I wasn't able to do with the chef work. So I don't think that helped, as well as obviously pushing up and pushing body weight up at the same time. So that happened. But as we went into the health phase, I saw that the knee was getting better, obviously from dropping body weight. So it's definitely to do with just the stress I was putting on my body from being heavy. And it is what it is when you're trying to push up and you're trying to put tissue on, and doing the sport requires that. So it's just something I'm going to have to manage, and the good thing is now that I will know obviously what the signs are, and how probably best to manage it. I think my leg training is going to have to be a lot more specific and a lot more detailed, not in the sense of doing 5 to 6 second negatives and pausing in the hold and 6 second concentrics and all that optional stuff. It won't be that. I'll still be training how I train, hard and heavy, and how I normally train, which is just controlled, but the rhythm of the reps will still be as normal. I'm just gonna have to be mindful of what I'm doing with my knees, and trying not to make the change of direction in the hole too severe and too fast. So maybe there might be a chance of a slight pause or slowing down a bit more as I go into the hole, things like that. But definitely things that I can put into my training and have done in my training now. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I started to kind of push the load a bit more, push my sets a bit more, because my knee was feeling better. So now I'm in a good groove with legs where I'm not getting any knee pain at all, and I'm able to kind of push it a bit more. I'm at about 80%. I'm not all the way there, because I've still got a decent bit of load that I need to put on, I feel, to my sets. And going back into the point of top set, back off set. And then instead of doing what I've been doing recently with this recovery leg session, is doing kind of 3 sets for a movement, instead of, that's 3 consecutive sets. So like three times 10 to 15 instead of 1 times 6 to 9, and a back off of 1 times 10 to 14, which is what I normally do and what I've done for legs, but I haven't done that in months. So I will be going back to that top set back off work next week or the week after. And we just take it from there, and hopefully this next improvements phase goes to plan, because I know as I'm going back into prep, the knee will get better as body weight comes off. So I've just got to get through these next 15 weeks without any pain, and I still want to make a huge standpoint on my quads. In my head, they're small, they're too small, they need to be bigger. It's just one of the things that I've always had, ever since starting bodybuilding. Being tall, having kind of lanky body parts, especially my limbs, because they're long. They just take a lot longer than other people who are shorter. So I still need a lot of size. So I'm hoping to do that in this next improvements phase, as long as I don't do anything stupid, and listen to my body, which is the main thing. So enough chat on that. It's already been 20 minutes. I love, I know how to ramble, especially with bodybuilding. So that's the plan going into the rest of this year and into the kind of first bit of next year. So yeah, it's going to be like a 10 to 15 week improvements phase, obviously another kind of clearance phase, and then we start prep, I think in about May, and then aiming again for like September shows onwards, which will be exciting. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting back into that. Looking forward to prep for sure. Just get back into the swing of things with that, and see what the physique looks like again, with improvements made. And that's all we can do with bodybuilding, is just make the improvements in the off season, trim it down when prep comes around, and see what we're looking like underneath, and compete, win, and go again. So I'll be in the open class next year, I'll be in the opens. So looking forward to standing with guys who are my height, tall lads. I'll be in the tall class. So I'm looking forward to that, kind of really standing against guys who are my height, and I was going to say face the same issues, but it's like, obviously the bigger you are, the taller you are, the longer it takes to grow the tissue to fill your frame. So I'll be standing with guys who are in the same position as me, which will be interesting, and kind of around the same body weight as well. So it'll be good to compare, and good to stand up there again, because I love it. I love prep. So yeah, it'll be good. So that's the plan. I think I'm going to leave it there, to be fair. I've waddled on and off, but yeah, improvements phase to do, and then we start prep next year. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a good full send now for the next 10-15 weeks, and then depending on time scale, we're looking at probably 12 to 16 weeks before my first show, probably. Last year I did my first show in 12 weeks just of prep, so from the start till my first show was 12 weeks, and then my whole prep was about 16 weeks, I think. So it'll be interesting to see where, what my starting point is for this next prep, and how long it takes us to get down to sorry, there's a dog shouting at nothing. One sec. But yeah, it'd be good to see, where we land in terms of body weight, and what we end up on stage at. I'm not hoping for any sort of weight, whatever you kind of coming at. You've got to go for condition, and whatever the body weight is, it is what it is. But kind of between my first show and second show, I think it was like about 8 to 10 kilo increase in stage weight. So, I'm looking for like 10 kilo increase, to be honest. I think it'll be good. That will sit me at where I kind of need to be. I'm still definitely not there. I've still got a lot of ground to work on, a lot of work to do, but that's the good thing about bodybuilding, is it's a very, very long game. So I'm looking forward to just more off seasons and more push-ups and more preps and everything like that, and just enjoying it as I go along. So we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully we'll be back with some training footage and me talking in the gym and being able to get his mic sorted as soon as possible. So until then, we'll see you soon. Stay tuned on Instagram, henry.taylor, if you're not already, just for daily updates, physique updates, training. I post every day in terms of training and what I'm doing. So if you want to follow on there, do so. If not, I'll see you on the next episode.